Hi, I'm Josh, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble your WindFall Stand for iPad Air. Your kit will include a WindFall Stand for iPad Air, a reversible branding card, 4 foam adapters for iPad Air 2, 4 friction feet, 4 sliding feet, an assembly tool, a spin stopper for square card readers, a pivot table head, a Kensington ClickSafe anchor mount, a pivot table assembly tool, a pivot table, a double-sided adhesive disc, and a single-sided adhesive disc. You also need to supply your own iPad Air 1 or 2. The first thing we're going to want to do is figure out how we want our stand to sit on our countertop. We have 3 different options here. We can use the friction feet, the sliding feet, or the pivot table. The friction feet grip to the surface of your countertop and don't allow for much movement. The sliding feet allow your stand to be able to slide easily across the surface. And the pivot table can either be permanently mounted with the double-sided adhesive disc, or can give it a bit more freedom with the single-sided adhesive disc. The pivot table is the only option here that will allow us to use a Kensington ClickSafe cable to secure our stand. If you're going to use the friction feet or the sliding feet, simply remove the backing off of the adhesive and apply it to each of the 4 corners of the bottom of the stand. I'm going to show you real quickly how to install the pivot table. With the pivot table, we need to decide if we want to permanently mount it to our countertop with this double-sided adhesive disc, or give it a bit more freedom with this single-sided adhesive disc. We're going to go with the single-sided adhesive disc. We're simply going to peel the plastic backing off of the adhesive disc and stick it to our pivot table. Next, we're going to place our stand on top of the pivot table. Then we're going to take the reversible branding card out temporarily. Then we're going to take our pivot table head and our Kensington ClickSafe anchor and mounting screw and use the pivot table assembly tool to assemble the pivot table together. Next, we're going to install our iPad Air. We're going to take the WindFall assembly tool and gently loosen the bottom 2 screws. We're going to completely remove the top 2 screws. If you're using iPad Air 1, you can simply slide the tablet into the stand now. But if you're using iPad Air 2, you're going to want to take the included foam adapters, peel the backing off of the adhesive, and insert the 4 foam adapters into the 4 corners like this. These 4 foam adapters will make sure that your tablet is sitting as close to the bezel as possible. With our foam adapters installed, now we can take our iPad Air 2, making sure that the audio port is going to be in the top right, and insert it into our stand. We're going to hold the back plate up against the back of the tablet and tighten the lower screws. Then we're going to take the screws that we removed from the top and reinstall them. Before we install the last screw, if you're going to be using a square reader, you're going to want to use a spin stopper. To do this, we're going to take the spin stopper and place it in the top right corner of our stand. The hole in the spin stopper is going to align with the hole in the front bezel of our stand and the back plate. It's going to be sandwiched in between the 2 parts. So we're going to take our final assembly screw and assemble the pieces together. As you can see, the spin stopper keeps the square reader from rotating. And that's how you assemble your WindFall Stand for iPad Air. If you have any questions, email us at service@hecklerdesign.com. Thanks for watching.